Deep in the caves of Portugal, scientists have been piecing together the story of a giant that used to call this land home. Not a mythical beast, but something very real. A brown bear, so massive it could almost be mistaken for one of history's most famous extinct predators, the cave bear. For over 1,000,000 years, Europe was bear country. Cave bears and brown bears lived side by side across the continent, and when the last ice age ended, only the brown bears walked out on the other side. But in Portugal, something strange shows up in the fossil record. Researchers examined more than 500 bear bones pulled from ancient caves across the country, and not one of them belonged to a cave bear. Every single specimen was a brown bear, and many of them were enormous. Brown bears trace their origins back to Asia around 620,000 years ago, before spreading west into Europe roughly 500,000 years ago. They reached the Iberian Peninsula, the land covering modern Spain and Portugal, somewhere between 250 and 200,000 years ago. For most of that time, they lived in the shadow of the cave bear, a larger, more dominant cousin that split from the brown bear lineage around 1.5 million years ago. Across most of Iberia, cave bear fossils vastly outnumber brown bear fossils. But in Portugal, cave bears simply don't appear at all. That's not for lack of looking. 16 Portuguese sites have produced bear remains, and all of them are brown bears. One cave called Fornina has yielded around 700 bones, making it one of the richest brown bear sites in the entire Iberian Peninsula. So where did the cave bears go? The leading explanation comes down to behavior. Cave bears were creatures of habit. They tended to return to the same caves generation after generation, effectively anchoring themselves to familiar territory. Brown bears, on the other hand, were wanderers, willing to push into new habitats and claim new caves. The theory is that cave bears simply never made the journey far enough west to reach Portugal. They stuck to the ranges they already knew, while brown bears kept expanding outward. And with the cave bear's typical ecological role open in Portugal, the brown bears appear to have filled it. That could explain their extraordinary size. Some of the brown bear bones were so large and thick they almost looked like cave bear bones. One bear from a later site is estimated to have weighed around 387 kilograms. For comparison, brown bears living today in Iberia typically weigh between 103 and 144 kilograms. Other early bears from the same region, dated to the start of the Holocene, averaged around 261 kilograms for males and 140 for females. That's a drop of over 45% in males and over 20% for females. This kind of shrinkage isn't unique to bears. Many large Pleistocene mammals got smaller as the Ice Age ended, but the reasons vary by species. For Iberian brown bears, researchers point to one driver above all others: us. As human populations grew, so did pressure on bear habitats. Ice Age humans began occupying the same caves bears once used as dens. Early farmers cleared forests for fields and pasture. Under Roman rule, mining, agriculture, and demand for timber further fragmented the forests bears once depended on. Bears were even captured and shipped off for arena spectacles. Later, during the Middle Ages, hunting bears became a mark of nobility. And when firearms arrived, the decline accelerated sharply. In 18th century northern Spain, around 150 bears were being killed every single year. By the 1950s, the entire Cantabrian population had dropped to roughly 40 individuals. Layered on top of habitat loss was something more targeted. Humans consistently hunted the largest and most impressive bears. Over centuries, that selective pressure favored smaller individuals who were less likely to be singled out. Researchers draw a direct comparison to African elephants today, where decades of ivory poaching have driven a measurable rise in tusklessness. In both cases, the trait that once made an animal biologically successful became the very reason it was targeted, and evolution responded accordingly. By the 1800s, the brown bear had vanished from Portugal entirely. What once thrived as the largest predator on the landscape, big enough to fill the ecological role of a species that never arrived, was gone. Not through some sudden catastrophe, but through a combination of environmentally and human-driven factors. Understanding how the brown bear ceased to exist in Portugal can help us understand how we can help those brown bears in Europe that are still hanging on. This was Archaeology Tea House. If the story was your cup of tea, why not like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss a video.